hi Ponyo Ham. I think you're my first viewer for the stream, so thank you for being here. And thank you for your compliments on the way that I draw. You're asking if there's any tips on how to improve drawing folds. And that's a really good question, and it is a really big challenge for me drawing this model right now and all of her poses, because they have quite complex costumes and there's a lot of folds happening. I actually only recently excuse me, I only recently learnt the names of different folds, so that really helps to do a little bit of practice. So there's 7 main folds that we see in fabric, and the ones that I'm really seeing here is a type of fold called a diaper fold, where you pretty much have like 2 points and the fabric sort of hangs between those 2 points. So that's what I'm seeing a lot in her neckline here, those 2 points being her shoulders. And then the rest is just sort of like these pipe folds that are wrapping around the form of her leg. So I would recommend looking into like the different types of folds. There's lots of really great, simple, just like infographic tutorials on that. Understanding like why a fabric is moving the way it is and understanding what form underneath is really the key to breaking it down. So if you've been watching this whole gesture for this pose, you might have noticed that I drew her body first and then I did the fabric. So always having an understanding of what is going on underneath first is going to help you draw the fabric. If you go straight in with the fabric and you're not thinking about the form underneath, it's going to be more complicated and it's not going to read as clearly. So that would be my tip for drawing fabric. So I think this pose is just about done. I don't really want to go much further on it. This is my first time doing the Studio Grafit sketch marathon. I haven't been able to get to it until today, which is the 12th one. Yeah, it's been really great just sort of just drawing and just kind of drawing for fun, and we can just hang out here and ask questions and stuff. But if you're not familiar with me or my work, I don't really have the patience for like super long poses. So this is my first time doing these videos with Studio Grafit, and some of them are like 10 minutes long. I find it hard to draw one gesture for 10 minutes, so you might see me skipping around the videos a little bit as I just decide that a gesture's finished and then I want to move on to the next thing. So if you don't know, Studio Grafit is a great website that offers photo reference of models. So this is one of their model packs. I'm not sure in the theme, maybe like Queen Warrior or something like that. But I use them a lot in my own drawing. I have a Patreon channel, patreon.com/Gillian Gestures, and I use a lot of their packs to draw from for my Patreon. And they've just started doing this September sketch-along, and it's just like, well, what you're seeing right now, you know, live, well not live, but a timed video where you can just put it on. It has some pretty decent music on in the background, like what you're hearing now. That's their jazzy music that they've included, so I like that a lot. And then it's timed gestures, so they've set them to be different lengths of time. So I don't work for them or anything. I just really enjoy their content, and the quality of them is really high. Like the photography is great, the costumes are great, the models are super dynamic, and the packs, all the ones I've got, have been about between 600 and maybe 1200 photographs in each pack, and each pack ranges from, I think most of them are about $12 US. So I think that's a pretty good value for the quality and the quantity. So if you've not checked them out, check them out. And if you're not ready to invest, you can do their sketch-along, and every day is a different model pack. And I actually think this one's a combo, because the photos with the white dress, I have drawn those before. That was from the Greek mythology pack. It's a really great resource if you're looking for reference to draw from, because it can be hard sometimes finding good reference online. There's a lot of bad reference out there, like bad lighting or just like weird sometimes. So I'm really enjoying all of Grafit stuff that I've done so far. This is my first time doing a stream ever, so I'm not really sure how everything works yet. I'm not even sure how many people are watching, if it's just me and Ponyoham. But if you're there and you have a question, or if you just want to say hi, let me know that you're there. Pop it in the chat. I guess there's a box somewhere that tells me how many people are watching, but I don't know where that is. I'm too busy drawing, so... Likely you're here because you saw my link on Instagram, maybe you follow my work there, or you're a Patreon member. But yeah, I would love you just to say hi, so I know if I'm just talking to myself or not. I also don't usually draw digitally for gestures, so I'm not as like confident with my lines and stuff, but it's good to challenge yourself and try different tools. I see a lot of my gesture drawing peers really enjoy drawing with digital, so it's something I'd like to be better at, because then it makes things like this a lot easier, things like streams and some tutorials and things. Hi Nicole. Nicole is one of my patrons. So I hope you don't mind this impromptu live stream, Nicole. You probably just saw it come up in your Patreon and was like, what? Gillian's doing live streams now? It's really just a test. I think it's something that could be pretty cool for us to do for Patreon. We could schedule it and make it like, you know, a certain time so you guys would know when to tune in. And then it's also recorded so you could watch it back at other times. I think I'm done with this pose now, so I'm just gonna scroll along. And this helmet is not gonna be fun. So I'm really used to drawing nude models mostly, so I'm still sort of working on costume clothing, props, helmets, things like that. So even though it's something I'm not familiar with or super strong in, I do have my training and my learning of like drawing the form underneath. So I know where her skull is, so I can draw that. Under the clothing, I know where her body is. Especially with the white costume. I don't know if anyone's seen that on the stream yet, but there's a white dress she wears. It's like a full length dress that goes all the way down to the floor, and it covers a lot of her anatomy. So I do have to invent a little bit. I have to sort of see what clues I see in the folds and then make it up a little bit, but that's all right. Something I do a lot in my gestures is I manipulate the model's pose a little bit to make decisions about where I want parts of the anatomy to be, where I don't like where it is in the reference. That's not to say that the model isn't doing a good job or anything, but I tend to avoid drawing any straight lines, any perfectly vertical or horizontal lines, and that's what this leg is kind of making right now. It just happens to be like that, right? It's for her stability. So I've actually turned this thigh up like a little bit, and then I've brought this heel back a little bit so I have a little bit more of a diagonal, and that just keeps my eye moving and it keeps the flow going through the pose. So I tend to do that a lot whenever I see the anatomy fall on a vertical or a horizontal. See, I'm with this sword. You could keep the sword straight. It's kind of powerful. Yeah, I think I will keep the sword straight here. In context of the story with the pose, I think a nice strong metal shape here looks good. So I'm trying to get this rounding in the upper back. She's sort of arching her back a little bit. And then we have this pull in the fabric. So first I want to think about my form underneath here. And then I might think about, okay, it's pulling from this sleeve on the arm here back towards her waist. Can't quite see that back arm very much, so I'm gonna change it a little bit so that I can see it. Just gonna peep it out a little bit there. I love the weight of these things. I don't know what they're called. Just this part of her belt that's just heavy and pulling down. So I've decided to keep the straights there as well. Okay, this helmet. I feel like I might just not draw the helmet. Okay, I'm gonna try. I'm going to change it a little bit so that I've got a clear silhouette. I changed the silhouette when I moved the arms, so I have to change this horsehair a little bit too. I don't mean to rant on about Studio Grafit and how amazing they are, but the good thing is when you sign up, I think they have like a newsletter, or when you buy your first pack, they often send out discount codes. Like I swear I get at least one discount code a week in my inbox from them. So you might pay full price for your first pack, and then you get like a 30%, 40% voucher almost every week. So if $12 is a bit steep for you, you only kind of have to pay it once, and then the next ones are going to be like $8, $6. So I had this helmet that was like too difficult for me to draw, so I just oversimplified it and tried to give the effect of a helmet, and I think it works. So that's enough for a gesture. I'm not really here to learn how to draw helmets today, so that works. we'll move on to the next one. This is nice. Quite a difficult pose. She's reclining, foreshortening, and the camera angle's pretty low, like we're down near the floor. So her head and shoulders are the furthest thing away from me, and then her legs are much closer to me. So I'm gonna play with the scale a little bit to get a sense of perspective. I'll let this foot get quite large. Do this elbow out a little bit. It's just a little, so it's so foreshortened there that it's a little bit awkward. So I'm just going to pull this elbow out away from the shoulder a little bit, just so it reads a bit clearer. So her wrist is going straight up. So I might just take it on a bit of an angle. I'm going to sort of keep the hand the same, but I've just put it at more of a diagonal here so it's less straight. I kind of like the forearm goes up like this and the palm goes like this, and then the glass maybe follows that too. Yeah, maybe she's spilling her wine or something. It's really fun when you have props that you can like generate some more story and then also add little things like that to them. Gesture drawing is all about story. So feel free to invent or add or manipulate. This is not your figure drawing class where you have to be accurate and draw exactly what you see. This is a bit more of a play. Little things like the jewelry and accessories can help you describe the perspective of something. So like this forearm is really foreshortened. So if I add a bracelet that is also following that, it's going to help describe that foreshortening. So although costumes can be more challenging, they can also be a good tool for showing perspective. Sometimes when it's a nude model, you just can't really show that without like construction or shading and lighting. It's a little bit long. Ooh, that's even longer. So one benefit I am enjoying about drawing in Photoshop instead of traditionally is that I can edit things. I don't want to get in the habit of doing that too much because I think gestures are supposed to be quick and like just impromptu, and it's not about making things perfect. But for things like that, like I always get the head size wrong. So it's quite nice to be able to just adjust it a little bit. Call that one done. So there's only about 10 minutes left on this video, plus I'm skipping. So we'll see how many poses we have left. Might just be one or two left. Thanks for joining me on the stream. Like I said, it's the first time I've ever done it, so it's been a real like just test. I'm gonna watch it back and see if it even recorded, if it even worked. But it's pretty fun. It's pretty low key and just fun to draw some gestures with no pressure. So if you are watching and you're an Instagram follower or patron, let me know if you enjoyed it, if you'd like to see more. And also definitely check out Studio Grafit's Sketch-A-Thon. I think they're just doing it for September. And every day is a new video. I don't think you can go back and watch like previous days' videos, so you really gotta like do it on the day. So I'll probably definitely try to do a few more of the Sketch-A-Thons with Studio Grafit. Free reference and it's timed and the soundtrack is great. So I'll probably do this again tomorrow, so you keep an eye on your Instagram or the Patreon. If you have time to join me again, you could draw along as well. I'm glad you're still here, Ponyo Hem. So the brushes I'm using, I don't use anything fancy, honestly. I think I'm just using the animator pencil. So I'm in Photoshop, and this is one of Kyle T. Webster's brushes from, I think this is Mega Pack, probably. Yeah, the Mega Pack and the drawing box. So if you have a Photoshop subscription, those are included in your subscription. You just need to download them from the website. But really, this is just a pencil. Like, there's nothing special about it. I'm drawing at 70% opacity, and I'm drawing with, I think I made it a little grey, so it's not full black. So I'm trying to get like a pencil-ish feeling from it. I've never really been a brush person. Like, some people do really beautiful stuff with brushes, but sometimes I feel like it's just not worth my time to sit and go through all the brushes and learn how to use every individual one. So I kind of just stick to like 2 or 3 different ones. If you have any recommendations, I use Photoshop. I don't have Procreate or anything, but if you have ones that you like and you think I should try them, let me know. Really nice shoulders in this pose. If you have any challenges drawing the shoulder anatomy, I just released a video on my Patreon about the shoulder girdle, how to draw it, how to break it down simply. did a little bit more perspective on this, like this growing leg towards the camera, a little bit more than it was in the reference. So you can play around with scale and perspective a little bit when you draw as well. So I felt like a lot of the other reference was giving us that, like her legs coming into the camera, so I did it a bit more. So it's a fun thing to play with. This is the white dress that I was talking about earlier, that it hides so much anatomy under here. So if you're not super confident in form and anatomy yet, this can be really challenging. But just do your best to simplify. Think of very simple shapes like eggs underneath, eggs and cylinders will get you there. But do think about the form and the direction of the pull of the fabric. That's going to help it look a little bit more believable. Okay, I think I'm done with this pose. I think it might be the last one. Yeah, I think so. Well, that was really fun. I really enjoyed the sketch marathon reference, and it's been fun having a couple of people here with me. So yeah, I think I've got some time tomorrow, so I'll jump on tomorrow at some point and do another stream. If you're a Patreon, I'll schedule a time for that. If you're not a patron, you can go check that out at patreon.com/Gillian Gestures. I'll just put it in the link, in the chat box, sorry. And otherwise I'll put it out on my stories again, and you can join in with me again tomorrow. So thanks for joining. I'm going to work out how to stop a stream, so I might be here for a couple more minutes. But yeah, thanks for joining me, everyone.